Now, a story I'm going to tell you today is about wee Reid Riding Hood. And there's all different versions of this tale, but this is why that I tell it. I hope you enjoy. Wee Reid Riding Hood bid wi' her mother and feather in a wee housie in the middle of the woods. A day she decided that she would ging and visit her granny for bed at the other side of the wood, and she would take a fine new-made cake for her granny to eat, for her mother had just finished baking. So wee Reid Riding Hood got her basket and she put the cake into the basket and off she set. And just afore she got out the door, her mother said, "Now mind this, wee Reid. Dinna speak to strangers. Bide in the pathy and ging straight there and straight back." "All right," said wee Reid Riding Hood, and off she gid, along the path, heading towards her granny's house. Well, she hadna gone off afar, when she spied some bonny wee bluebells tucked in among the trees. And wee Reid Riding Hood thought it would be awfu' fine to take some of the flurries to her granny. So she jinked into the trees and started pooing the bonny flurries. And oh, michty, it didn't take her long to ging recht through the trees and get a bit lost. So when this stranger appeared, this big, bad oof, wee Reid Riding Hood was actually a bit relieved. She said, "Could you help me? I kinda have lost the pathy and I need to get to my granny's house." "Oh," said the oof, "you're gone to your granny? I am taking her a cake that my mother's just baked." And the oof thought, cake and granny and wee quine, it is sitting fit rare. So he asked directions to granny's house, and then he showed Reid Riding Hood the long way to get there, and he himself took a shortcut through the woods and arrived afore the wee lass. When he knocked on the door, he put on a wee quiney voice. He said, "Grandma, can I come in?" And when Grandma opened the door, she got enough of surprise to see a great big muckle oof, and he gobbled her up afore she could say, "How you go?" Well, the oof put on Granny's hat and Granny's glasses and Granny's shawl, and he crawled into Granny's bed, and he waited for wee Reid Riding Hood. Well, it wasn't long afore she come chopping at the door, and she says, "Granny, Granny, I'm here to give you some cake." And the oof said, "Come in, my dear." Well, in stepped wee Reid Riding Hood, and she got up to the bed and she says, "Oh, Granny, fit big lugs you've got." "The better for hearing you," said the oof. "And Granny, fit big een you've got." The better for seeing you," said the oof. "And Granny, fit big teeth you've got." The better for gobbling you up," said the oof, and he made a grab for wee Reid Riding Hood, while she let out a skirl. And just at that very second, the woodcutter was coming by the pathy, so he ran into the house and he grabbed Reid Riding Hood out of the way, and he ta'en his axe and he hut the oof o'er the head. Syne he slit open the oof and Granny stepped out. And she got her sewing kit and she sewed up the oof and telled him, "Dinna you be so coarse in future." And the oof slunk awa into the woods, and the woodcutter and Reid Riding Hood and her granny sat down and had a fine fly.